This was a major victory for the prosecution. This is a very, very difficult case. The age of the case, the delay in reporting it, the inconsistencies on the part of the victim, the additional accusers obviously were extraordinarily helpful, but even their circumstances were subject to extensive cross-examination and a long time failure to report. So it sends a message that jurors will believe women. I think the status quo has been changed not only by the Me Too movement, but now really the first major case in which a woman who delayed reporting and who had the inconsistencies that can happen when a psyche is damaged by sexual assault give rise to reasons why some might inherently want to disbelieve, but when they're given the reasons why women delay, why the women have difficulty recalling certain facts, that can turn them around. And this case was extraordinary in that the prosecution presented really compelling expert testimony as to the behaviors of victims of sexual assault, the fact that they were able to produce other victims of this defendant who provided compelling testimony, and were able to convince the trial judge that it was appropriate to present that case to the jury. Their closing arguments were excellent. They dismantled every one of the many defenses that were thrown out at the jury. From a practical perspective, given the severity of these crimes, given the fact that there's been a conviction on all three of these felonies, I would expect that the trial judge would be using the word years rather than months in his sentence, even for an 80-year-old man. Pennsylvania actually has one of the most sophisticated state correctional systems in dealing with elderly inmates, because we're one of the few states that have life without parole. Therefore, we have a significant aging prison population. Certainly there will be an appeal in this case, and one of the most important post-trial factors is going to be what the bail looks like going ahead. Right now, he's been released on bail. Whether that will continue once an appeal is filed to the Superior Court will be up to the trial judge. And especially after he's sentenced, he has an even greater incentive to flee, and there were certainly fireworks in the courtroom when that was discussed at the conclusion of these proceedings. And I think that in terms of looking at what the prosecution accomplished in this case, it can't be underestimated. This was a long, exhausting proceeding. They had many challenges that were placed upon them. And trying a case like this in the midst of the public scrutiny is a very difficult process. And I think what they accomplished is very significant.